The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit www.gg.com/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on a Wednesday morning. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram. We are all over the place. At Mr. Tipton 33 is where you can go to follow me on all of my various social media channels. Hope that everyone is having themselves a fantastic day today. Making sure all the streams are working good. It looks like everything's working good. All right. I wanted to start off today's show by talking about the MLB All-Star Game. I didn't watch the MLB All-Star Game. Totally forgot about the MLB All-Star Game, which is kind of sad because it was one of my favorite events as a kid. Like I love All-Star Games for whatever reason. Not so much the Pro Bowl, but I love All-Star Games for whatever reason. And forgetting about the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, not even having any kind of reminder that the MLB All-Star Game was going on. Like everywhere that I was looking, like I don't even think I got an alert on ESPN reminding me that the All-Star Game was on. Shout out to Alma Rose 915 who tuned in over on Instagram. Hope that you were having yourself a great day, at least the beginnings of a great day. So I couldn't, again, like with the MLB All-Star Game, like I was kind of saddened by the fact that I forgot all about Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. Was very saddened by the fact that I forgot about Major League Baseball's All-Star Game. And even more so because it ultimately went to what was called a swing-off, which is Major League Baseball's version of penalty kicks in soccer. And like, I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I love whenever a game goes down to penalty kicks and you determine your winner that way. Like you don't end up in a tie. Now the score says it was a tie, right? Like if you look at the score for Major League Baseball's All-Star Game yesterday, it said that the score was 6-6. 6-6. But they go to a swing off in Major League Baseball. And all it was we're going to hit home runs. We're going to hit absolute bombs until someone can't hit home runs anymore. And it comes down to this. This is like how they describe it. So what happened Tuesday night All-Star game was unlike anything in the 94 versions that preceded it. Thanks to a rule change 3 years ago, baseball unveiled its version of penalty kicks in soccer or a shootout in hockey. Break a tie after 9 innings via a home run derby-style swing-off. And there were perhaps no one on the planet better to meet the moment than Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies, who homered on all 3 of his swings in the impromptu batting practice session to propel the NL to a 6-6 win with a 4-3 edge in home runs in the Midsummer Classic. That's awesome. Like, I've got to go and like look at the highlights and look at all that stuff. Right? Like that's what I've got to do. I gotta figure a way out to make sure that I am watching the home run derby and the All-Star game. I got to find time this week to watch the replays of that, even if it's just the swing off. I've got to find a way to make sure I'm watching that. Nonetheless, I think the question should be, are fans in or out of this? Because it feels like the old heads, like the baseball purists, are going to be against this, right? But you also have to remember this is an exhibition game. This isn't a real game. I don't even think they have the home field advantage anymore on the line in these games in the All-Star game anymore, like Major League Baseball used to have a couple of years back. I feel like Major League Baseball is just trying to find a way to make it more fun. And that's a way to make it more fun. Like, I wish games in the regular season ended that way. You got 5 pitches on each side. Bring out whoever your best remaining pitcher is, bring out your best hitter, and see what we got. 5 pitches, that's it. I guess it can't even be your best pitcher because you don't want to waste somebody's arm on that. But especially if it's a home run derby style thing. But you get five pitches to hit home runs out, and I'm with it. I'm happy with that. If that's what I'm getting out of Major League Baseball, then I'm happy with that. Make the regular season games in this way too. No more of these really long games. I assure you, people would be extremely happy with it. The fan bases would be extremely happy with it. Nonetheless, we finally get ourselves through the All-Star break into the second half of the season, closer to the trade deadline. And I think that's when things get serious with Major League Baseball, right? Is right around the trade deadline. That's when we as fans can finally check in and be like, okay, now we can see more or less how our team is going to be. At least I am. Because we've got a little under 60 games left, which is just insane to think of. Let me go and check like how the standings are. See how many games have been played. I think we actually have more than 60 games left. More than 60 games left. I'm looking right now. It looks like everyone's played 96 games. So we've got 68 games left in Major League Baseball. 66 games left in Major League Baseball, something around there. 60 plus games left in Major League Baseball. Man. So you wait till the trade deadline, you'll have over 100 games that have been played. Destiny saying, wow, there's still a lot of season left. Yeah, there's a ton of season left in Major League Baseball. The best teams right now, obviously the Detroit Tigers, 59-38, 11 and a half games ahead in their division. I want to say they have the biggest lead. They do have the biggest lead in the division. The Philadelphia Phillies, a half game over the New York Mets and 10 and a half over the Miami Marlins. That's going to be a pretty close division. I think the best division in baseball right now is the NL West. The Dodgers, 58 wins, 5.5 over the Padres, 6 over the Giants, 11 over the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks got to get to doing something. The Diamondbacks got to get it going. Toronto Blue Jays with a 2-game lead over the New York Yankees and a 3-game lead over the Boston Red Sox. And the Boston Red Sox came into the All-Star break. I want to say they won 8 straight games. Actually, no, they won 10 straight games. Jesus. 10-0 in their last 10 to get to where they are. And they were kind of written off earlier in the season. The same thing with like Baltimore. Everyone was like, oh, Boston and Baltimore, they're underachieving. They're not doing that good. Boston's found a way to come back. And Boston, to me, is going to be an interesting team if they can make it to the playoffs. Like, that'll be a very interesting team right now if they were to make it to the playoffs. I want to see what the wild card standings are right now. Yeah, it's Boston and New York, the top teams in the wild card standing. They got a 2-game lead. And the Seattle Mariners. I forgot there's 3 wild card teams now. So you got the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Mariners are the wild card teams. They got a 1.5-game lead over the Tampa Bay Rays, 3.5 over the Texas Rangers, 4 over the LA Angels and the Minnesota Twins. 19.5-game lead over the Chicago White Sox, who are nowhere near it. In the NL, your 3 wild card teams are the Milwaukee Brewers, the New York Mets, and the San Diego Padres. The Giants a half game out of that. I'd like to see the Padres and the Giants in the playoffs just because, like I said, that division with the Dodgers is so close. It could be so much fun. It's going to be, at least I think there's one division that you can say, okay, this one we can toss over to the side. That's going to be the AL Central just because of how big of a lead the Detroit Tigers have there. Like, they would need an epic collapse. And actually, now that I'm talking about it, we said this a bunch of times. Baseball is one of those weird sports where you don't need a whole bunch of games to have a comeback, right? Like, the Tigers lose 5 games this week and the Twins win 5 games this week. That 11.5-game lead is chopped down to 6. Right, so Major League Baseball, as Tommy Canonso tunes in saying, what's good, Tip? What's good, Tommy? Hope that you're having a great Wednesday morning. It doesn't even feel like a Wednesday, does it? Like, it feels like time has stopped somehow. Shout out to Sandra E. Salas, who's tuning in over on Facebook as well on the Tipton Sports Broadcasting page. I wanted to get, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Major League Baseball because yesterday was the All-Star game. And like I said, I was sad because I got 0 alerts reminding me, hey, Major League Baseball's All-Star game is on. And maybe that's on me. Maybe I should pay more attention to the stuff that I'm trying to do, right? But I didn't even watch the Major League Baseball All-Star game. I was kind of sad about that. I didn't watch the Home Run Derby. And I feel like had I watched Major League Baseball's All-Star game, had they done a better job, the Crooked Commish tuning in saying, what's up, Money Mike? What's up, Crooked Commish? Hope that you're having yourself a great day. Shout out to Philip Henry, who's tuning in over on the Tipton Sports Broadcasting page as well. Did y'all watch the MLB All-Star game? Like, I'm pretty sure Tommy didn't watch the game. Commish, did you watch it? Because, like, I wish that I would have at least seen the swing off, right? And I didn't watch ESPN last night, so I didn't get all of the information. And by the time I saw that there was a swing off, I was like, I didn't have enough time to watch it here before I got on the show. And even if you watch a replay of it, it's not the same as watching it in real time, right? Especially knowing what happens. The cricket commission saying, nah, I missed it. Does home field advantage still count for the World Series? I don't think so. And I think that's the fact that we can still ask these questions of Major League Baseball shows how bad they've been marketing Major League Baseball. Again, like I get it that it's just the All-Star game. It's not like a huge deal. But it felt like back in the day, and maybe it's just the old man in me now, right? Like it felt like back in the day, Major League Baseball did a great job of promoting the All-Star game. You would see commercials for it all over the place. I don't feel like I saw anything. It felt like it crept up on me. Like even being in the media, having like the stuff to get the credential, like I applied for the All-Star game. I didn't get accepted to go to the All-Star game. I have friends that were at the All-Star game. Brent Fullen, Evan Fullen, they were at the All-Star game. Shout out to them. But it just felt like it came out of nowhere. Like an RKO is kind of what it felt like for my wrestling fans out there. Major League Baseball's got to do a better job. Like they just got to do a better job. Or maybe ESPN, whoever it is has got to do a better job. I don't even know. I'm not going to look it up right now if home field advantage counts for the World Series in the Major League Baseball All-Star game anymore. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I didn't get to talk about it yesterday because we were talking about quarterbacks and lists. But I wanted to talk a little bit about this. The cricket commission saying start a game on a Tuesday night instead of a Friday night probably doesn't help. Yeah. Whenever the game is on a Friday or on a Tuesday night, no one's really going to care about it. The cricket commission saying my boy looked like he got his back blown out. You got it. Like, you just got to be done with basketball, right? Like, this is going to be a poster. This is not photoshopped at all. This is going to be a poster. You will be forever remembered by this. Like this might be the greatest summer league dunk of all time. He looked like he got his soul snatched out of him. Is what happened right here. Well, like you've got to retire, right? Like you can't continue playing basketball because this is going to be brought up every time. Like you go out to, you're getting introduced in the lineup, like the starting lineup, you're getting introduced, and all the like home team has to do whenever you're visiting is put this picture up. You will forever be remembered as the guy that got dunked on like this and had an orgasm at the same time. You got to retire. Like, I wish that was photoshopped. Photoshop wouldn't be able to be this good. And you can see old boy like cocking it back. Like he's about to just jam on this dude. And whenever he gets it to the rim, the face that you make, like I get it, you just got dunked on or something, but be stoic. Like you don't have to look like that. That's just, oh man, that's so. And Commish, you're a Bulls fan, I'm assuming, because of the Chicago Clubhouse Network and all the stuff that you work with. I'm assuming you're a Bulls fan. That's got to be demoralizing. Like again, I understand it's summer league. Johnny Furphy dunking on this dude. Also, what a terrible name for the guy making the dunk, Johnny Furphy. But you get dunked on like that, it's time to hang him up. There's no way. None. that you can ever bounce back from that. Again, like just the face that he made. The face that he made. It's classic. Like, there's no other way. The Cricket Commission saying, oh, yeah, we were talking about it for sure in our chat room. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't good stuff either. Like, it just lends itself to be so memeable. And like a part of me feels bad for him. But like a part of me feels bad for the guy. You get dunked on like that, you're going to like forever be known as the dude that got dunked on that way. That face says he got wee-wee on. He's covered in poo. That like it's such a bad face. It really is. And I was looking at, like, someone was like, oh, there's other people that have made faces like that whenever they've gotten dunked on and this and that and the other and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, no one has ever in the history of sports ever made that face. No one has ever made that face in the history of sports. Getting dunked on, getting hit, doing anything like that. No one has ever made that face. It's just that guy. Just that guy. Cricket Commish, I hope you stay tuned for the remainder of the show. I know you normally tune in for just the tip, but we're going to be talking about the NFC North. We're going to be breaking down the moves, the transactions in the NFC North. Out of all the transactions, Commish, out of all the transactions the Bears have done, you being a Bears guy, what was the best transaction you saw the Bears do this offseason? I got mine in mind. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit. But I'd like to get your thoughts on what the Bears have done so far this offseason. Next week, Tommy, you know I did it on purpose. We went through the AFC East, the AFC North, the AFC West, to the AFC South, the NFC South, the NFC West. Now we're doing the NFC North. Next week, we're going to be doing the NFC East. All the moves, all the transactions, the draft picks, all that stuff, going through the schedules to find out who is going to be the beast of the NFC East. The Crooked Commission saying Dalton or trading for Joe Tooney and extending him. I think the Joe Tooney one is the big one. Tommy Cananta saying, let's do this when it comes to talking about the Dallas Cowboys. You know what? Let's just go ahead and kick into it. Okay? The Bears in free agency. Actually, before I do that, let's go to the top 100. We gotta talk about our top 100 here. I'm looking up for my list. Where's my list? There we are. There's my list. Who was added to it? Dak Prescott being number 79, which again I felt is low. You better have him at least as high as you put Joe Burrow, but whatever. Number 77, T. Higgins is the wide receiver. 73 receptions, 911 yards, 10 receiving tutties. Vita Vea, the defensive tackle of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like that. I think he's kind of low on this list. He should be higher on this list. Vita Vea is a game disruptor. 27 solo tackles, 7 sacks, 1 pass defended, and selected to a second Pro Bowl. That's crazy. Vita Vea has only been to 2 Pro Bowls. That's insane to me. I guess you're playing the same position as Aaron Donald. That kind of, I guess I would explain it. But Vita Vea is a menace, an absolute menace. Like he should be higher on this list. And seeing that he wasn't ranked at all last year is just wild to me. I like what Tampa Bay is doing. We remember that. I still think Tampa Bay going to be the best team in the NFC South, which again is like saying you're the tallest little person. Probably shouldn't have said that. Sorry, Roku. But I like what Tampa Bay is doing. I really do. You forget that they got Vita Vea, and Vita Vea is just a game disruptor. Tommy Canazza agreeing with me, saying that Vita Vea should be way higher. This is a weird list to me, man. Like Cam Hayward to me should be higher. Quinnen Williams should be higher. The Crooked Commish saying that he was a little shocked about the Bears extending their general manager, Ryan Poles. I believe it was a 3-year contract, right? That's what Ryan Poles got, was a 3-year contract. I like it. I like you got to have a little bit of consistency, right? And to me, the trajectory of the Bears is on the way up. Like it really is on the way up. So you've got to. I think he's doing a good job. I really do, and it's going to take a little bit of time. I don't know how much they're paying him. I just remember hearing it was a 3-year deal, maybe 2 years. I'm trying to remember all the details on this, but you got to see what he can do, right? Like he's made some great moves this offseason. Like you can say the Bears have been in a great position with what he did. It sucks that they're in that division. I think that's going to be one of the harder divisions for any team to win. But man, it just feels like the Bears are on their trajectory up. So going over the top 100, we're going to go 80 to 76 because that's what we have so far. We already went over the other guys that were in the top 100. Ladd McConkey, the Aaron Joneses, Drake London, Sam Laporta, Josh Sweat. I think, Tommy, that's what's got me kind of out on this whole list, right? Again, 80, Rashawn Gary, number 79, Dak Prescott, 78, Khalil Mack, 77, T. Higgins, 76, Vita Vea. Whenever you got guys like Sam Laporta being in the 90s, he's super important to what Detroit does. And he's a great tight end. Like I'd put him as top 3 or 4 tight ends in the NFL right now. And you're going to have him ranked under Tua Tagovailoa as far as the best players in the NFL. Like the more this list is going, the more I'm realizing I'm out on this list. But we're only at number 76. Maybe whenever the list is fully done, we'll be able to look back and say, you know what? Okay. I know there's going to be controversy, always controversy at the top part of the list. And it's going to probably be with Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen. That's probably going to be where the controversy comes of like where those guys are. We're just at number 76. I should give it some grace, realizing that we're at just the tip of this list.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip? Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Check out myhappynuts.com. See all the male grooming products. What product might work best for you? Take care of yourself. all over, guys. From your pits to your tip, you are covered with www.myhappynuts.com. I use the whole body deodorant. I use the anti-chafe stick. I use the comfort cream. No more stanky legs for me. No more smelling bad. None of those issues like that. I am taken care of because I am worried about making sure that I am my best at all times. www.myhappynuts.com. From your pits to your tip, use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all of your male grooming needs. We've been going over it for this will be week number 7 that we've been doing this, going through all of the different divisions. We went through the AFC East, the AFC North, the West, the South, the same thing in the NFC. My division winners so far, the Bills out of the AFC East, the second place team there going to be the New England Patriots. In the AFC North, I still think it's Baltimore's division to win, but I think that Cincinnati is going to be the second best team in that division. I've got no faith in Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the AFC West, Kansas City, by the skin of their teeth, I think are going to be better than the Denver Broncos. I like what Denver's doing. I got faith in the Denver Broncos. In the AFC South, who cares? But it's going to be the Houston Texans. And then our second favorite team on this show, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like the Jags. We're gonna love the Jaguars this year. In the NFC South, we went with Tampa Bay edging out the Atlanta Falcons. In the NFC West, we went with the LA Rams. I think the Rams are going to be really good, but after going over the schedule, I was surprised at how good Seattle might be. I still think the Rams are the cream of the crop of that division, and I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks as the second best team. Now we're moving to the NFC North, which I think is going to be one of the most fun divisions to watch this year. You had 3 teams last year in the playoffs with the Packers, the Vikings, and the Detroit Lions. And the Chicago Bears were close in games, right? Like they lost a lot of really close games. This could have been a much better season for Caleb Williams than what they had, because they had Matt Eberflus as their head coach, and he's now the defensive coordinator in Dallas. Usa, I'll be okay. I will be okay. So let's look at what the Chicago Bears did this offseason, because it wasn't just free agency that they made a splash. They traded with the Kansas City Chiefs. They traded a 4th-round pick in 2026 for an offensive lineman in Joe Thuney. They signed Durham Smythe to a contract. They signed a whole bunch of dudes. Olamide Zaccheaus, they got him to a contract. The Bears had themselves an offseason. They go out and they get Daya Obedembo from the Indianapolis Colts. They give him a $48 million 3-year contract. Grady Jarrett to help out the defensive line. Drew Dahlman to help out that offensive line. They put money in the trenches, and that's where you win games. They signed Case Keenum to get that veteran quarterback to kind of help out with the growth of Caleb Williams. I like what Chicago is doing. They didn't really lose much either in free agency. Like that's a good thing with Chicago, is they didn't really lose much. They lost some end of the bench, like 30 to 40 to 50 number man on the roster. They lost some of those guys, but they didn't lose big names. Let's look at what the Bears did in the draft. They just happened to get one of the best tight ends in the NFL draft in Colston Loveland. He's a good receiving tight end, and I think that's what you need. You need a security blanket. You got a young quarterback in Caleb Williams. You need a security blanket. I like Cole Kmet. I've got to like Cole Kmet's still on the roster, right? Like that's what I've got to think about. They can go with a 2 tight end set. Yeah, Cole Kmet's still there. They went hard into tight ends this year. Did the Chicago Bears. But you go out, you get Colston Loveland, great pickup, helping you out there. They take him over Tyler Warren. I probably would have taken Tyler Warren. I understand why they took Colston Loveland. I probably would have taken Tyler Warren, but nonetheless, they got themselves a security blanket. They can go with a 2 tight end set. It'll be great. Maybe you can use Cole Kmet as like trade bait out there towards the middle part of the season. Try to make your team a little bit better. But I like the trajectory of where the Bears are right now. Then what do? In the second round, they go and they get Luther Burden III, a wide receiver, helping out that receiving core. Looking at who they have at wide receiver, they got Luther Burden. I keep wanting to call him Luthen. Don't know why. Olamide Zacchaeus is going to be there with them. Roma Dunze, DJ Moore. Like, they have themselves the making of a pretty damn good receiving core. Running back, they got DeAndre Swift, rather. They got our guy, Deion Hankins, friend of the show. Like, they've got the makings of a pretty damn good team. Chicago does. Like, if you're a Bears fan, you have to be excited about what can happen here. Like, even in the second round of the draft, number 56, they go out and they get an offensive tackle. It's number 62 in the second round. They had 3 picks in the second round. They go on, they get a defensive tackle. Depth along the offensive and defensive line, despite already having and adding depth along the offensive and defensive line. I like what they did. I really do like what the Bears did here. We're going to look up the Bears schedule right now. Let's see how the Bears can do. Get through the preseason games. We will share the screen as we have been doing this whole time. Week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings. That's going to be quite the test for the Minnesota Vikings. New quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. Is he going to be able to take the reins? They won a lot of close games last year to Minnesota. I got them losing this game, the Vikings. So the Bears 1-0 to start the season. We'll say 1-1 because I don't think they're going to beat Detroit in Ford Field. Then they take on our Dallas Cowboys in week 3. 1-2. Now you get the Las Vegas Raiders. You're 2-2 through week 4. Early bye week, not where you want to be. Washington Commanders, we'll say that's 2-3 because that's going to be in Washington. New Orleans Saints, 3-3. Baltimore Ravens, 3-4. Cincinnati Bengals, 3-5. New York Giants, 4-5. Minnesota Vikings, you're going to split with them. You are now 4-6 on the season. Pittsburgh Steelers, you can beat them, especially because they're probably not going to be that good. 5-6 on the season. Philadelphia Eagles, 5-7 on the season. A part of me wanted to say they were going to lose that game. 5-8 because you lose at Lambeau. 6-8 because you beat the Cleveland Browns. 7-8 because you split with the Green Bay Packers. 8-8 because of the San Francisco 49ers not being a good team. And then you end the season 9-8. Commish, if you're still there, 9-8, 8-9. That's kind of where I see this Chicago Bears team. Maybe, just maybe, the sun shines on the dog's ass every now and then. and you get 10 wins here, I don't see where. Maybe you beat the Cowboys. Maybe you sweep the Vikings. I don't see you beating Cincinnati. I don't see you beating Baltimore. I don't see you beating the Lions. So maybe you get one of those wins in there. We know the Cowboys could be that team where you add an extra win here. I'm saying with the Chicago Bears, we go anywhere from 8 wins to 10 wins on the season. 7 at the low end. 7 at the real low end. But I think this is going to be an 8-win team. If I'm a Bears fan, I'm excited. If I'm a Bears fan, I'm happy. Then comes the team that's been the best in that division for quite some time now, which isn't something that we really, really think about. The Detroit Lions have been good for a while, which is an insane thing to think about. The Detroit Lions have been good for a while. We're not used to this as football fans. If you've been a football fan for a long time, you're not used to the Detroit Lions being good for an extended period of time. And I thought about it this way, where I kept thinking to myself, man, the Detroit Lions, like they lose Ben Johnson, and of course Ben Johnson, the new head coach in Chicago, that's going to help them out as well. They're going to have a more dynamic offense. They lose Aaron Glenn, the new head coach with the New York Jets. So they lose their offensive and defensive coordinator. And I was like, there was a mass exodus. A mass exodus. I said this a bunch of times. A mass exodus of players and coaches leaving Detroit. And then I looked in free agency and saw, wow, they only lost 5 guys. And only one of them, Carlton Davis, you could say was a really big move. Big move for the Patriots, of course. And then I was like, what did they do in free agency? Like, who'd they sign? They go on, they get DJ Reed from the Jets, bring him in on a 3-year, $48 million deal, do the Detroit Lions. And then it's a bunch of 1-year deals after that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 1-year deals for guys like Roy Lopez, Tim Patrick, Khalil Dorsey. Like, all this is depth. We're just trying to get depth, and that's fine, right? Like, that's great for the Detroit Lions. You just want to go get depth. You're going to get Aiden Hutchinson back. What was your Achilles heel? It didn't feel like they really had one. It just felt like they ran into the wrong team at the wrong time in the playoffs, right? Washington, for whatever reason, played the game of their life. Everyone was expecting Detroit to make it to the NFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl, which is just weird to say. So there's not much that you have to do. You're going to get Aiden Hutchinson back. That's going to help you out on defense a ton. But what do you do in the draft? In the NFL draft, what did you do with the Detroit Lions? You go out and you get the number 28 overall pick, Tyleik Williams, a defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Big pickup for them. Tate Ratledge, an offensive lineman in the 2nd round. Isaac Tesla, a wide receiver out of Arkansas. Not huge, because I feel like you've already got a pretty decent receiving core. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like he's the dude. Like he's going to be one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL. You got a good running back game. Like they've got themselves a roster. Like they've got a good team in Detroit. Again, in the 5th round, helping out the offensive line, getting Miles Frazier out of LSU, helping out the defensive line with Ahmed Hassanian out of Boise State, a defensive end. So that's all it was, adding depth to what's already a good team. You got Sam Laporta, who I know, Tommy, you said he didn't have as good of a second year as he did the first year. To be fair, I understand that. I agree with you. He wasn't as good, but he's still a top 5 tight end in the NFL. Is Sam Laporta. Like I'm having a hard time coming up. Like I'll put Kelsey, Kittle, and I'm trying to think of like maybe Jonnu Smith, but I don't think Jonnu Smith's going to have that great of a year being in Pittsburgh. Great security blanket for Aaron Rodgers, so maybe. But I can't think of a whole bunch of tight ends that are better than Sam Laporta. So now we go to the Detroit Lions schedule. It's weird to me. Like now that I'm looking at this, it's kind of weird to me that the NFC North teams, that at least the last two that we've done, open up the season with NFC North games, like two NFC North games, two division games to start the season. That's kind of odd. We'll see if the Vikings and the Packers do that as well. Week 1 against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. I'm going with Detroit to win that game. Week 2, we have them beating the Bears. Week 3, losing to Baltimore. So you're 2-1 on the season, 3-1 because you're going to beat Cleveland. Man, this is going to be a tough schedule. 3-2, beating the Cincinnati Bengals or losing to the Cincinnati Bengals. 3-3, lose. Well, you know what? Man, we'll give you 4-2. 4-2 in week 6 because I think you can beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Actually, no. I'm going with my heart here. We're going 3-3. 3-3. I'm so glad B. Strill is not tuned in today. 3-3. 4-3 beating Tampa Bay. 5-3 beating Minnesota. That's at Ford Field. We'll say they get a little monicum of revenge here. 6-3 beating the Washington Commanders. 6-4 losing to Philadelphia. 7-4 beating the New York Giants. They're probably going to beat the Green Bay Packers, sweep the Green Bay Packers this year. Yeah, I feel like they are going to sweep the Green Bay Packers. They get a win there. This game against the Dallas Cowboys makes me want to say the Cowboys are going to lose this game, especially being in Detroit. But it's a Thursday night game, and the Dallas Cowboys are really good on Thursday nights. Maybe you lose to the Dallas Cowboys. The Rams seem to have your number. Maybe you lose to the Rams as well, but you'll probably beat the Rams. You'll beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Minnesota is going to be an interesting team. We'll see how they're doing late in the season. I think that's going to be a win, and the Bears are going to be a win. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can see an 11-6 to a 12-5 record for the Detroit Lions. 11-6, 12-5 for the Detroit Lions. Man, that's going to be such a fun division to watch because I feel like that should be good enough to win the division, but we got to see how Green Bay is going to do. Green Bay in the offseason didn't really do a lot. They signed Aaron Banks, an offensive lineman, to help out that offensive line from the San Francisco 49ers, spent $77 million on him, $48 million on Nate Hobbs, a cornerback out of Vegas with the Raiders. They didn't really lose a whole bunch. They lost Hardell Slayton, not a big deal. Jair Alexander, they lose him. He was kind of getting a little old anyway. They just released him. So it's not like they lost a whole bunch. In the draft, they got Matthew Golden, a wide receiver out of Texas, the first time in a long time that they had drafted a wide receiver to help out a quarterback in Green Bay. Huge deal for them. Jordan Love still at quarterback there. They have Josh Jacobs as a running back. Like they're a good team. They're a really good team. Anthony Belton, offensive tackle. They're helping out the offensive line out of North Carolina State. Savion Williams, another wide receiver. They get him in the 3rd round. Byron Sorrell, an edge rusher out of Texas, helping out once again. Colin Oliver, an edge rusher out of Oklahoma State. Warren Brinson, a defensive tackle out of Georgia. Those 3 picks in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round, all depth along all along the defensive line to kind of help them out. Micah Robinson, a quarterback out of Tulane, and then John Williams, an offensive lineman out of Cincinnati. So they kind of address some of the needs, right? They do what they got to do. They were a playoff contending team last year. Won 11 games last year, did the Green Bay Packers. Let's share the screen one more time here. Open up the season with a loss to the Detroit Lions. More than likely beat the Washington Commanders. So you're 1-1. Beat the Cleveland Browns. You're 2-1. I don't know what to make of this Dallas Cowboys team. We'll figure it out next week. We'll figure it out next week with the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what to make with this team, but we'll say the Dallas Cowboys lose this game. So now you're 3-1 on the season, 3-2 because you lose to Cincinnati, 4-2 because you beat Arizona, 5-2 because you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, 6-2. Yeah, 6-2. I saw here you have your bye week because you beat the Carolina Panthers. 6-3 because you lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. 7-3 because you beat the New York Giants. 8-3 because you're going to split with Minnesota. 8-4 because you're going to lose to Detroit. 9-4 because you beat the Chicago Bears. 9-5 because I like Denver. 9-6 because I think you split with Chicago. 9-7 because of the Baltimore Ravens. And then 9-8. So they can be another 10-win team here, right? Like we'll give them the high end. They can be a 10-win team for the Chicago or for the Green Bay Packers. 10 wins, 9 wins, anywhere in there. I'd be surprised if they got 11. So we're going to go 9 to 10 wins for the Green Bay Packers. So far, we have Detroit with 12, Chicago with anywhere between 7 and 9 wins for them, and then 9 and 10 wins for the Green Bay Packers. And then comes one of the more interesting teams in the NFL, at least I think, which is the Minnesota Vikings. They did a lot this offseason. They bring in Byron Murphy on a 3-year, $54 million deal, cornerback to help out their defense. They bring in Will Freeze, an offensive lineman from the Indianapolis Colts. They give him a 5-year, $87 million deal. They bring in Jonathan Allen, a defensive tackle, along with Javon Hargrave, a defensive tackle, shoring up that defensive line, spending $81 million along that defensive line. Bring in Ryan Kelly, another offensive lineman, to help them out, giving them depth along the offensive line, and then just a bunch of depth guys, Isaiah Rodgers, Eric Wilson, Jeff Okudah, guys like that. They lose Sam Darnold, and this is where the big question mark for them comes in, is the quarterback position. Who's going to be their quarterback? They lose Sam Darnold. They lose Cameron Bynum, a safety, They lose Daniel Jones. Not a huge deal, but they lose Daniel Jones. Cam Robinson, Patrick Jones, Garrett Bradbury, Shaquille Griffin. They lose a couple of guys, right? What are the Minnesota Vikings going to be this season? So let's look up their schedule real quick while we got just under 5 minutes going. We're going to make it, guys. Week 1 at Chicago, we said the Bears were going to win this game. So you're 1-1 because you're going to split with Atlanta. Actually, I like Atlanta. So you're 0-2, 0-3, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4 because you lose to Philadelphia. 2-5 because you more than likely lose to the Chargers. 2-6 because of Detroit. 2-7 because of the Baltimore Ravens. Man, they got themselves a bad schedule. 3-7, beating the Chicago Bears, splitting with the Chicago Bears. 3-8, losing to the Green Bay Packers. 3-9, losing to the Seattle Seahawks. 3-10, really, you can go 3-10, losing to the Washington Commanders. 3-11, losing to the Dallas Cowboys. 4-11, beating the New York Giants. 4-12, losing to the Detroit Lions. And then I had you splitting with Green Bay, winning that last game at home. 5-12. The Minnesota Vikings can be anywhere between a 4-win team to a 6-win team. So there's, to me, just based off the schedule, based off of all the moves, all the question marks that surround J.J. McCarthy, it's still going to be the Detroit Lions, the Green Bay Packers, the Chicago Bears not too far away, and then the Minnesota Vikings, the worst team in that division. That's the way that we're going to make it. At least that's the way that I think it's going to wind up playing out. Shout out to Sports Around the 915, Nayeli Perez, Maciel 094, Adrian Zamudio, Miss America 89 for tuning in over on Instagram. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to today's show. Man, Detroit going to win the division once again in the NFC North. Next week, we break down the NFC East. Where will the Dallas Cowboys finish? Where will the Philadelphia Eagles finish? What about the Washington Commanders? And we can all laugh at the New York Giants. They've got so much more to do. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to today's show. Have a great Wednesday. We will see you all tomorrow.